Welcome to IRRubrics. So it is a rubrics database management Excel sheet. So it is VBA and macro based Excel sheet. So you have to enable the VBA or macro codes to run these Excel forms provided in this Excel sheets. It will not harm your computer because the scope of the code is only within this workbook. So you can see there will be 3 sheets already available in this Excel workbook. That is a student name, then rubrics, then the works. So first you have to fill the student name details, where you have to fill the roll numbers, then the register numbers, and then the name of the students. So once that is completed, then you can move to the rubrics sheet, where you have to complete the rubrics. So here you have to provide your college name, subject code, and the branch. For the rubrics, the vertical columns are the criteria. So there are 8 criteria you can do with this rubrics sheet. Maximum number of criteria are 8. So you can also do lesser number of that also. And for each criteria, there you can do maximum of 5 levels. So here the sample rubrics given is only for 6 criteria, and for each criteria there is only 4 levels shown. This is a sample rubrics for a drawing subject in the mechanical engineering. So here you can see there are scores provided for each levels as 5, 4, 3, 2, and weightages provided for each criteria. So this rubrics is for 10 marks for each drawing which is to be valued, where the weightage for a timely completion is 50%. So that means if it is a 10 marks valuation, you have to give 5 marks maximum for the timely completion. Therefore, the weightage is provided as 1, and the other 5 marks are distributed among the other 5 criteria. So weightages are given here, it is 0.2. So 5 into 0.2, it will be 1 marks for each criteria maximum. So altogether it will give you 10 marks. If you don't want any weightages for the criteria, all the criteria are having equal weightages, then you can put these values as 1. Then the only scores provided here will be affected in the total score. So once that is completed, we will move to the works. So first of all, here there is a drop down menu where you have to mention how many number of criteria you are using. So here I am using only 6 criteria rubrics, so 6 is taken. There are 3 drawings which is to be valued. One is the nut, one is the bolt, and one is the rivet. The work name entered here, and for each work I had to press this insert sheet button. There you can see a sheet is created here. Then again come to the works sheet, then insert sheet for second work, then insert sheet for the third work. So once these steps are completed, then you can go to the data entry. So data entry shows the rubrics you have already created, their point values, and there are 2 drop down menus. One is for the student roll number and the other is for the work name. So here first I select the student roll number. Only 3 students I have considered here. So first one, student 1, so his name is showing here. Then the work name, that is the nut, first work. Then you can simply press the valuation criteria here. So you have to keep a printed copy of this rubrics with you when the valuation is done, because if the explanation for each box are very lengthy, then it cannot be shown completely here. So it will be better to hold a printout of this rubrics with you when the valuation is done. So once the rubrics is done for a student, you have to press the update score button. So it will showing updated successfully. If you feel like this criteria is not valued now, it will be valued sometime later on, then you can reset that criteria. Then again you have to press the update score to get it reflected in the database. I take the second student. Now I move to the second sheet. First student. Then the third work. Okay, so all the values are stored in the database. So later on, if you feel to edit that, you can edit these things. That is first student, and the work is the third one. And we have made for the student 1, for the first work, we have reset one criteria value, that is the first criteria value, and that I can also update now. So update the score. So updated successfully. Okay, then close the window. So if you inspect the sheets we have already created, you can see that there is already this course value inserted there. So it is an Excel sheet. So we have only made the entry. So you have to press the Ctrl S button to save all the data you have entered here. So once all the entries are made, you can generate a report to get the consolidated mark statement for the students. So one report sheet is now created here. So where it shows for individual students for each 3 of the works, what is the scores he have obtained and what is the total score, and also what is the grand total for each student. So it is also showing there. So you can copy this to some of your formatted Excel sheets and you can print out with the proper formatting done. Now we will discuss some of the do's and don'ts for this Excel workbook. So first of all, we will start with the do. If you are feeling like there is one more student who is getting admitted later on, so he can be added here as the 4th one. But the only problem is that when you go to the database of the work you have already valued, you do not see the student name there. But if you go to the data entry tab, you can see that student is there and you can add the rubrics values for this student also. But in the worksheet, it will be shown only as the points only and no student name or other details. So you can edit the student name and register number details here manually for the worksheets which have been already entered or inserted. For the new worksheets here, if I insert the 4th worksheet, that sheet will be already having the new student. What will happen if you forgot to give the college name or subject name or subject code, all these things? It is not a problem because all these values are used only when the report is generated. So you can see in the report there is a heading, there is a college name, branch name and a subject code and a subject name. So that will not be there if you have forgotten to insert these values there. So what you can do is that you can delete this report and you can make this report once again with these headings there. And also if you have to completely reset the point values for work 1 or work 2 or work 3 that you have been already valued, what you can do is that you can right click on the sheet and you can delete that sheet entirely, and then again you come to the work and insert that sheet and make the data entry. Then in the rubrics, if you have to change the explanation of any of these cells, you can do that later on. Even if you have started the data entry, if you need to change the explanation, you can change these explanations. What happens if you have forgotten to enter the number of criteria properly? It will reflect only in the top cells of these sheets which have been inserted. That is, if you have inserted here it is 2, then in these inserted sheets there will be written only criteria 1 and criteria 2. But when you are making the data entry, all these data entries will be made properly. So if you have forgotten to mention the number of criteria properly here, so what you can do is that already for the already inserted sheets you can add the criteria numbers here manually. For the works, it is not a requirement that you need to insert all these sheets before making the data entry. If you are planning only to enter the work 1 values, then insert that sheet only. You can make the data entry, and later on if you feel like you have to value the 3rd work, then you can enter the 3rd work name here and you can insert the sheet here and make a data entry. Then you can go for the 2nd work. Like that you can make the data entry. So it is not a requirement that you have to insert all these sheets at once and then make the data entry. So data entry can be only made for the already inserted sheets here. So once you have generated the report and later on you are changing any point values of any of these students, then that changes will not be automatically reflected in this report sheet. So there also you have to delete this report and then again you have to make a new report. Now we will discuss some of the don'ts with this Excel workbook. So first of all, do not change the names of these worksheets. Then the second one, do not drag and drop and change the order of these worksheets here. That is the second important one, because all those will mess with the final data entry and report generation. And also while inspecting W1, these W2 and W3, you can see two columns are here left blank. That is because so criteria 7 and criteria 8 is not here. Therefore, those columns are left blank. Do not delete these columns, and also do not delete any of these rows here. So in the student name, do not change the order of the students. So if you wish, you can add a student later on at the end of this list. So do not change the order of the student entries already made, for which the data entries have been started. Then coming to the rubrics, do not change the number of levels or number of criteria once you have started the data entry process, and also do not change the point score values and weightages for the criteria once the data entry have been started. So that's all with all the do's and don'ts with this Excel workbook. And you can see there is an email address is provided here. If you have any feedback, feel free to inform. So thank you.